Hi, my name is Nicole. I am a highly sensitive artist and earth pigment painter. Today I want to talk with you about what it feels like to have such a sensitive nervous system. And yeah, every step I take, everything I do to create a more peaceful and stress-free life, and I'd love to take you along with me on that journey. To give you a little bit of context of what I'm doing right now, of what I have to do today is, well, we finally have good sunny warm weather here in the Netherlands, which I was craving for so much. So I can sit outside now and I have beautiful oak wood here because I'm kind of a crazy person. In 9 days, I have my collection launch. I will be launching the first part of my new collection of abstract earth pigment paintings. And I had the crazy idea that I wanted to learn how to make the floating frames myself. I feel like if you make stuff yourself with your hands, not only do you get a new skill, which I really think is so awesome if you can do it yourself, but it makes you appreciate the craft more, you know? If you try to create something yourself with your own hands, you know what it takes in the end to get to the end result, and therefore you will have so much more appreciation of the thing itself, you know? So yeah, I need to sand it a bit to make it even more smooth and make some frames of it afterwards. So a few years ago, after finding a book in the house of my parents-in-law, I think the book is called The Highly Sensitive Person. I was intrigued by the title. I thought, okay, what's that? And I picked up the book and started to read, and it was the most weird experience, actually, because when I was reading the book, it was like reading a blueprint of myself. It was really weird. The descriptions in the book, The Highly Sensitive Person, was so much aligned with how I am and how I function, and all the things I thought were weird about me and, well, different than most other people that I know. But then it was all in that book, and I thought, okay, it's a thing. It's not just me. There are more people like that. And yeah, that changed a lot, and it definitely helped to realize that. It took away some of negative feelings about myself.
Dat heb je toch allemaal op je hoofd zitten?
But it's still not super easy to accept, you know. I mean, of course, there are many beautiful sides to being highly sensitive. Like we experience all the beautiful stuff in life, also so much more intense, right? Like music, paintings, films, nature, special moments. They all make a very deep and emotional impression and beautiful memories, and yeah, make me feel very much alive. But I really do struggle with the fact that the way I am, the way I function especially, feels so unpredictable, you know? One day I can have like the best day ever. I'm full of energy and super productive, and it feels like I'm flying and I get so many things done, and I'm really moving forward towards my dreams of a more peaceful, sustainable life with making an income from my art. And then I'm so euphoric on that day, you know, when that's part of the sensitivity as well, right? You get really, it's like being on a high or something. And then I feel really happy, and I feel like I can take on the world. And then I'm really looking forward to have another day like that, right? And then the next day comes, and the next day is completely different. I wake up and I'm tired, and I'm not in a good mood. I feel completely drained, and I'm wondering where all the energy has gone. And everything feels too much, and it feels like I can do nothing that day, like completely overwhelmed, like from the beginning that I wake up, you know? And I still find that so difficult to accept because, yeah, I see other people, of course, moving faster than I am towards their dreams and their goals, and they are more present on social media. They are more consistent with uploading YouTube videos or posting Instagram content, and that pays off. And I can see that. I can see that it pays off for them, and that it helps them. And you know, I want to achieve that for myself as well. I want to be consistent, and I want to give it my all, you know. Somehow multitasking with talking to you and doing that is too hard right now as well. So yeah, through reading about the high sensitivity, I was able to become kinder with myself, but still it feels hard, you know, to accept that I cannot go as fast towards my goals as other people do, you know? And I'm all about taking things slow and appreciating the moment and enjoying the present as much as possible. But yeah, it's really not easy if you have a goal in mind and if you have a deadline like I do, and I want to have that collection launch in 9 days, and I have these issues, you know. I don't always have the energy that I need, and I also just really have physical pains. I'm unfortunately having a lot of headaches and also migraines already since I was like 14 years old. That's what I remember that it started, that I probably had my first migraine. And well, it seems like my nervous system is really, really not good at stress. And it also seems like I somehow feel like I can feel stressed out very quickly. For many people, situations do not feel that stressful like they do for me. I don't know. And it, like yesterday, for example, I was picking up my son from his soccer game, and I really don't like to be in that environment because it's very, very noisy and chaotic. And I don't know, the children playing soccer can get so wild and angry at each other when they feel like the other one is not succeeding the way they would like to, and stuff like that. And yesterday I was standing in that environment, in that noise, and then there was this soccer ball. I didn't see it coming, you know, and it suddenly just bomb smashed right behind me on the grass, and I did not see it. It felt like I was very lucky that it didn't hit on my head, and I was startled. I think that's the word, startled. Yeah, I was even more stressed out to be in that place, and that was already after having a whole day of things to do, you know, and then you're already quite overwhelmed from all the input of the day, and then you have that in the evening. Well, yeah, so, and then often I feel bad about myself, you know, because I would love to be the mother that stands there with a huge smile on the side of the field, picking up her kid, or even just staying there to watch him play all the time. And I'm just really, I can't do that. Just, yeah. So yeah, it's another hard part, I think. Yeah, at least for me, of being highly sensitive, is that I feel like there are some things that non-highly sensitive parents can give their children that I can't, or yeah, something like that. But then again, I try to remind myself, okay, but there's a lot of things that I can give to my children because I am highly sensitive, that probably other parents can't, right? I bring them into contact a lot with arts and crafts and making music and singing, and it's important to me to, well, I always tell them all the beauty I see when there are special clouds in the sky or when there's a little flower somewhere, things that happen in nature. I always see them, and I always will tell my children when I see it so they can see it as well, so I can share it with them. And yeah, so again, there's lots and lots of positive sides of being highly sensitive, but yeah, also definitely a lot of things that are not easy about it. So yeah, I'm still figuring out life as a highly sensitive person, and figuring out my way to run a successful business, art business, as a highly sensitive person. How to make that happen, how to be consistent, maybe getting some help in certain areas to be more consistent. Even, I guess I have to calculate those days, because I know that I never have a full week that I feel good, productive, and full of energy every day of the week. That never really happens. So when I know that, I can set myself more realistic goals, more realistic deadlines, and yeah, make it all a little more doable for me, you know? So something I decided to do differently with this collection launch is that I decided that I was working, I think, on about 13 paintings that are almost finished. And I decided to take that launch in 2 parts, actually. So I will only release Rio. By the way, this is Rio, our rescue puppy from Spain. Well, he's officially not a puppy anymore, because a month ago it was his first birthday, so he's 1 year old now. So I decided to do that collection launch in 2 parts, and I will launch 6 paintings in the first launch. And I noticed already that this gives me a much more peaceful feeling about it, because in the past, every time when I did a collection launch, it was quite stressful, and I'm always nervous about it. It's always a huge thing when you work on your art for many, many months, and then you need to get it out into the world for people to see it and hopefully appreciate it as much as you do yourself. And I'm not always sure if I can transmit all my feelings, thoughts, and yeah, the full story of my paintings that I feel inside of myself, if I can really bring that over to the other side, you know. And so this time I will do it in 2 phases, and what that does is it doesn't feel that final. I have that deadline in 9 days. Hopefully I'll make it with making all the frames. But it feels like a moment of celebration, and then it goes on because the collection is not completely done yet. So in the past, the launch day felt always very final, like this is the thing, now it has to happen, now the sales have to come in. And I would put so much of my energy in that last 2 weeks before the launch. I would be very, very active on the socials, create a whole new page on my website, redesign everything, write newsletters, all the stuff that you kind of have to do when doing a launch. But then the launch day would come, and most of the times there would not be a sale of the work immediately, and my morale is that the word? Morale, would just completely sink into the ground. Like, I was always extremely devastated when I have put so much work into it and then nothing happens at launch day and the day after. And then I would feel so sad and so devastated that I would, like fall into this deep hole of sadness and just don't want to talk to anyone anymore. And I would not be active at all on socials because it feels like I felt kind of ashamed, you know. It feels like, okay, I did everything I learned that you had to do for a launch and you put in so much energy and then nothing happens. So it always made me feel like, okay, guess my work isn't as good as I thought, and I feel embarrassed to talk about it after the launch when nothing has sold. But this time it feels, thank goodness, it feels very different. I feel also different about the work that I created. I feel like this time I have really taken a deep dive into my painting, into my style, into the work that I wanted to create, and it feels somehow much more aligned with myself than it ever did before. And I can't wait to create more paintings like these. And I'm so proud of them. And I actually feel really enthusiastic about sharing them. And because there will be a phase 2 launch, it's also, I know it's going to be much easier to, even if nothing happens at the first launch, it will be easier to keep talking about that work, to keep sharing it, to keep making it visible, because finally I know deep down this is the work I love, this is the work I'm proud of, I'm convinced that it's really, really good. That's also why I'm excited to make really high quality frames for this work now. Yeah, because it deserves it. It deserves to be framed in beautiful wood. And yeah, so that's quite a relief that I finally reached the point where I feel like that about my artwork. That was a long ride to get to this point. Yeah, I guess that's it for today. And I hope you follow along with my journey and keep your eyes open for the collection launch video over 9 days. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye for now.